Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another One Beer Chat. I'm just kind of lounging down here on the couch with my dog, and I thought this would be a good time to do a video. And this is a very, I don't know what you want to call it, happy One Beer Chat because, guys, I got a buck down on the ground last weekend. So cheers. Here we go. One Beer Chat. So I'm really pumped about this buck. Definitely not a huge buck, but it was exactly what I was looking for going into this spot. I kind of want to tell you about like the setup, why I was hunting there, what I was expecting to see, like that kind of stuff. And then I'm going to have my buddy Nick come on and we'll do another One Beer Chat. Honestly, it might be like a longer one. You guys might need a backup beer for that one because I just want to talk about the shot, the recovery process, and kind of what we learned from that. So that will be the next episode. But for this one, it was October 15th. So I'm sorry I didn't get this out sooner, you guys. Between work, family, and trying to get out and hunt as much as I can, I've been pretty tied up. But I wanted to do this here for you guys tonight because I am super pumped about this buck. It's a 2.5-year-old 8-point here in Southwest Michigan. He was really exactly what I was looking for in this particular spot. And I had a couple bucks on camera here that were in the daylight, even early in October. I think now that there's 3 of them, and they're all fairly similar in size. I honestly think I shot the smallest of the 3, but they're all pretty close. One looks to be a little bit wider and taller, and then I've got this other one that I actually think might be a 3.5-year-old that's just really stocky and kind of like a tall tight rack. But I went to a spot that I call the Brady blind, and I'm so bummed my son Brady wasn't there with me for this. So this spot is on a field edge. It's a cornfield, and the corn is still standing. So we tucked in a pop-up blind to basically the best spot that is a really easy in and out that like I can take my 3.5-year-old out hunting with me. It's an easy walk. It's not a far walk. And he loves his pop-up blind. So I set that up for him, and I'm going to call this hunt my first hunt. I did take him out one time for like kind of a, not really late morning, but we got in the blind one time early in October at like 8:30, and we sat till probably like 9:30. And it was definitely more of a hunt where I just wanted to get him out there. We packed a bag full of snacks, kind of one of those. Just get him out in the woods, get him experience with it, and whenever he wanted to go home, we could just go home. So that was, I guess, technically the first hunt in this spot. But this was my first, I guess, actual, like legit, I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna sit till dark type of hunt. So my wife and my son, they were actually going to a pumpkin patch, and they dropped me off here instead of me driving, because I didn't want to park my truck in this particular spot. I could park it farther down, but they were already going to a pumpkin patch. I was like, drop me off, I'll walk the whatever mile-ish back. So they dropped me off, slip into the blind. It's really warm. I shouldn't say really warm. It's probably like close to 60 degrees. Beautiful sunny day. It was a little windy, but the temps were going to come down that night. The wind was going to die down, and it was a perfect wind to hunt this. So this is kind of a spot that I had more set up as like I don't want to call it necessarily a burner spot, but one that I really didn't care if I overhunted it. I really didn't care if my son went there with me and we boogered things up. Like it was kind of a burner spot. So it was one I wanted to go to without diving into any of my really good spots on October 15th. And I got set up in the blind, took my compound bow, and that's why this buck is so special. I have not shot a buck with a compound bow since 2016. So I've shot a couple does with a compound in between now and then. I've shot a few bucks with a crossbow, shot a few bucks with a firearm, but I have not shot a buck with a compound since 2016. So I took that there because the shots are going to be really close at this blind with the corn still up. So from the blind to the corn is like 5 yards, just a perpendicular line. And then I can see in about a 5-yard strip between the woods/swamp and the corn for like 40 yards. And then there's a tree that kind of overhangs that lane. And that lane kind of turns. So I can only see about 40 yards to my right with the brush pile and the tree that I've got this blind tucked into. I really can't see very much to my left, and then I can only see about 5 yards in front of me. So honestly, I was just kind of going there to enjoy the night and hopefully shoot a doe. Got in the blind at 4:30 and adjusted a few windows, made sure I could draw my bow. I actually, I thought I had quite a bit of time at this spot, so I put on a football game and I put my headphones in. I was going to watch a little college football and just kind of keep an eye on things. I really couldn't hear anything, and if I was going to see something, it's going to be close, and maybe I shouldn't have done that, but I figured I had some time, so I was going to watch a little more college football and then shut that off when it got closer to when I have been seeing deer move there. Well, at 4:45, I catch movement under that tree that I can, basically as far as I can see, I can just see legs moving under it. So I took my headphones out, I shut my phone off, and then out pops this buck. And he's walking, he's on the right side of me, and he's walking right along the corn. And this is something that I knew going into this spot was obviously shots are going to be really close, and it might be tough to get a shot broadside. Like if you're going to let them walk all the way down the corn, you got to let them get to, 4 to 5 yards, depending on where they're walking by the corn. But I also have pictures of them kind of cutting in and out of the corn and stuff. So I had this whole other window open. And so he's coming. I drew really early on him because he's not only is he walking right at me, or kind of quartering to walking at me, but at that time, I was lit up like a Christmas tree inside of that pop-up blind. With the windows that I had open with the sun, just starting to kind of set in the west. I mean, it was bright inside of my blind. So I thought he might see me draw if he was close. So I drew when he was probably 25 to 30 yards, and I really didn't have like a great shot there. And then he got sub 20, kept just kind of working his way, got sub 15. And now I'm thinking, okay, if I have to, I feel like I can get one in that very small window of a kind of a quartering to or sharp quartering to shot where it's not quite a frontal shot, but where I want to sneak it right inside of his near side shoulder and drive it back through him. Then he got sub 10. And now when he's sub 10, I'm thinking, okay, now I definitely feel like I can sneak this in there. And I made one adjustment to, the window divider in the windows of a pop-up blind. Like I needed to be in the next one. So I just slid over just a little bit. And with all that sun, he caught me. And he picked his head up. He was looking right at me. So I was like, okay, if you're going to take this shot, this is the shot, because he's not, he's about to bust out of here. So I put it right inside of his near side shoulder, squeezed it off, and as soon as it hit him, he wheeled around and he took off right back the way he came. And when he wheeled, I was pretty confident I saw a whole bunch of the broadside, broad head side of the arrow sticking out of him. I mean, it was really quick and he was gone. Disappeared. I can't see very far, like I said, and I couldn't hear anything after he got, beyond my line of sight. So that's where we're going to pick up the story with my buddy Nick, because my buddy Nick came out and he helped me recover this deer. And it was definitely a cool learning experience. It was cool to share it with him and kind of just have, two sets of eyes on recovering this deer. So I wanted to prep you guys for that one, because I think that one is going to be a really good just kind of what happens, how we assess the situation, how we went through recovering this deer. But guys, I was super pumped. I really was to shoot this buck. He's by no means my biggest, but I do not care one bit. That was exactly the type of buck that was a quote unquote shooter for me in that particular spot. And to be able to do it with my compound, man, that felt good, because I just haven't done it in a while. And this was the perfect spot to take my compound, because I knew shots were going to be close. It's a great spot. I personally love being on the ground in a pop-up blind, being able to draw, get away with a little bit of movement. Obviously he busted me, but had that been 6 or 6:30 when I was expecting to see deer, I think I could have let him walk right into to that 4 or 5 yard broadside mark. It was just so lit up in there. So I mean, I am pumped. I'm relieved. That's one of the earlier bucks I've killed recently. And it just feels great to not only have kind of the compound monkey off my back, but to have one down early and to, like the pressure is off. Now it's time to pursue, my goal now. In Michigan, we have 2 buck tags. My goal now is a 3.5-year-old. Guys, that is the One Beer Chat for today. Be sure to hit that like button down below if you guys like this video, and definitely hit that subscribe button and be on the lookout, because my buddy Nick, great hunter, experienced hunter, he's one that we've tracked each other's deer before, and I think between the two of us, we're gonna hopefully paint a really good picture of what we experienced and kind of what we learned from it. So hope you all have a great night. Thanks for tuning in with me. Remember, be a sportsman, make a sportsman.